Hello. This is a prepaid debit call from...
It's me for just a minute. I've been moved to Omaha.
An inmate at the Douglas County Jail. To accept this call, press 0. To refuse this call, hang up or press... This call is from a corrections facility and is subject to monitoring, recording, and the location of your phone will be obtained. For more information about our privacy policy, please visit www.connectnetwork.com. After the beep, press 5 to accept this call. This call is from a corrections facility and is subject to monitoring, recording, and the location of your phone will be obtained. Stay on the line to accept this call. Thank you for using GTL.
I don't consent to recording of this call. Is there anything I need to know?
There's nothing new, Mike. I can't think of anything particular.
Okay. All right. Well, I'm just touching base. I had put in a request to the library a while back to try to get Federalist 84, which talks about the Second Amendment, and I don't know if anyone listening has the ability to, I don't know if it's a page or two. I was told it wasn't very long, but it's basically letters that was written back during the time of the formation of the Constitution, prior to the Constitution referencing the Second Amendment and the right of the people to bear arms. But if anyone has the ability to send me a copy of that, I would greatly appreciate it.
I'm trying to look it up now to see if it's easily found. Federalist 84?
Yep.
Yeah, I found it.
I apologize for calling so late. This CO is evil. We get out 30 minutes twice a day, and they're supposed to let us out early enough so that we can use the phone. So he just let us out, and if you had not have answered the phone, I wouldn't be able to call a second time because the phone shut off at 9:30. So that I can stay on it as long as I'm on it, but I won't be able to dial another number now. I was let out at 9:27, and by the time I was able to walk down the stairs and dial the number, it's right at 9:29. So.
Oh, I got you, man. I got you. Well, hey, I found the paper. It's 7 pages, and I can easily mail that to you. I'm also going to mail you. Just a few hours ago, I was given opportunity to speak 10 minutes before Pastor Stefan Broden's church about our prison ministry, and I'm writing the speech now. I'm going to mail you a copy of the speech along with Federalist 84, and if you have any critiques or anything, let me know. But I may get an opportunity not only tomorrow morning, which I got to get prepared for that, but the opportunity may come up again in the future, and I just want to have a speech about our prison ministry and how bad things really are. I don't think people quite get it, so I've got to condense it in a digestible fashion,
Yeah, the people don't realize the news media is not going to talk about the overabundance of people that lives are being destroyed illegally by this corporation posing as government, because there's only one of you out there.
Yeah.
Therein lies the problem, and I didn't know about you until Mrs. Parsons heard about you through someone else. That was just, and had we not, you would have never known about us.
Right.
There's literally thousands of people out there that's lives are being destroyed by this corporation, and they put their faith in the system, and the system is a fraud. The system is hijacked, and you got people like this Judge Gerard. He violates the very oath and rules that he's taken an oath to uphold. The guy's a magician. He sits up there wagging his finger, clicking his heels, and saying, I determine what is and what is not. He thinks he's a god. He's a moron.
Yep.
He needs to be removed. He's violated his oath of office. He's committed treason upon the Constitution, upon the people, and he needs to be removed because he's not operating as the requirement is, as long as they operate, with good behavior. Well, he is not demonstrating good behavior.
Yeah.
He needs to go home and play in his own sandbox.
Amen
it's
to
time
that.
for him to take a break.
Amen to that.
Go home and have some Kool-Aid and cookies. We're done letting you play in our sandbox. So, anyway, the problem is he thinks it's his sandbox. It's his own private business. Have you heard anything from Sue?
No, I have not.
Okay. Okay, I haven't heard anything in a long time, so I was just curious if she is free, if she's in jail, if she's alive, or what.
I'm assuming that if she was reincarcerated, that she would have reached out or had somebody reach out, but I'm assuming she's free and has very limited restrictions on her communication abilities. Dorothy, tells me that she's working hard every day to do whatever they can. She don't go and, anything I get from Dorothy, I make sure too. But the last I heard, they're still working. But let me just quickly say this, Mike. I think we're going into like a civil war, issue where you have the state worshipers and the police supporters. And you have the people who recognize the state for what it is, which is a tyranny. And I got example after example after example that I'm going to put in my speech, and I can only put so much about, cops using lethal force, and they're never held accountable, and they get away with murder over and over again. But if we sneeze wrong, we get put in prison for 20, 25. I got some prisoners life in prison with no parole, and there's no victim. And we don't know what they're going to try to give you yet, but it's just insanity. These cops who kill people, they don't get any time at all. Most of the time they get acquitted.
Right. It's rare that you'll ever have a grand jury indict a cop, and that's by design because they're just doing their job. And, they had on the news today that this guy that was riding a train, I can't remember the guy's name now. I don't have his information right in front of me, but he was just sentenced in federal prison to 14 years. That's insane. What this guy is accused of doing is they accused him of trying to derail a train. He's a paid passenger. Okay, he's visiting relatives. He's got a weapons permit. He legally has a gun that he carries with a weapons permit. He lives in Missouri. He's going from California back to Missouri. It's an emergency situation. Otherwise, he wouldn't be riding a train. And so he's wandering around this train because it takes a long time, as anybody who's ever rode a train knows. So he walks in from one car into another. Well, this last car he walks into turns out to be an engine. There's a bunch of engines attached to this train, and this one is unlocked. Well, that's not his fault that the door is unlocked. He didn't jimmy it, pry it, rig it, didn't do anything to be able to breach security. He just walked in, and there he's sitting there looking at this engine compartment, and like most young men nowadays, they have the mind of a 14-year-old when they're looking at such as that. So he's checking it out like any 14-year-old might be enthused about trains and trucks and airplanes and stuff. He's looking at it, and he bumps into this lever, which turns out to be a brake, and it slows the train down. So they stop the train, and they go, and they arrest him, and they put him off the train. Well, the guy hasn't done anything illegal. He's been doing what he would normally do, which is walk around a train. If they not had the door unlocked, then he wouldn't have been in there. So that's their mistake. But they come up with this crime because you got Monty R. Zapluski, FBI special agent in charge in Grand Island, Nebraska, middle of nowhere, America, who's trained in, looking for terrorists. So behind every corn stalk is a terrorist in his eyes, and it's just a matter of finding them. So he creates terrorists in his own mind.
Amen. That's exactly right.
He creates a crime, and then he solves the crime. So he accuses this guy of, they arrest him and then they released him on a bond, and before he can get back to his home, the FBI has gone through all of his stuff, and they find a business card for some, I guess there's a company that advertises preparedness stuff, but they were also involved in sponsoring, I guess, some type of a white nationalist rally or something like that. Well, he had nothing to do with that. He just, shops on the internet, so he goes to these various sites where they sell survival gear and, various things. And all of a sudden, this guy's accused of some kind of a masterminding some plot to derail a train because he is a white nationalist and he supposedly hates black people. Well, funny thing, there was only 2 black people on this whole train of 150-something, so it wasn't exactly the Soul Train. So
how old is this guy? How old is this guy? How old is this guy?
Like 25.
Wow. 14 years. That's insanity.
I met the guy for 3 hours. I sat there and listened to this guy and heard the whole story, and he's not into nothing. He's just a guy who's traveling across country, and they're trying to make him out to be some huge villain. Well, now he's sentenced to 14 years in a federal prison, which means doing 85% of that, 12 years?
Oh, my gosh.
Is 11 years? I mean, this is destroying this young man's life.
This sounds like another candidate for our website, man.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Michael Taylor Wilson.
What's it again?
I think it's Michael Taylor Wilson.
Wow. Okay, I'll try to look him up. You don't know what prison he's in, do you?
He was in the Saline County Jail. As far as I know, he's still there unless they've sent him off immediately. But he was just sentenced in Lincoln, Nebraska, probably by this same judge. I know it was the same Montyar Zapluski. You know.
I see articles all over the internet on this guy, so I'll try to check him out and read about him. I mean, it's just insanity. And what you said, Mike, about the FBI creating terrorists, they get paid to find terrorists. Their budget depends on finding terrorists, and they will create them. That rings so true with me. If there's not any, they create them.
Look, I'm sitting here in an airport drinking a cup of coffee. I've got a former FBI agent calling on their buddies because she's a sheriff's chief deputy now, and where I'm viewed as not an escape risk, and they don't have an order. Here's the thing. There's no court order for me to appear in court, so that's why I'm not there. Every time I had a lawful court order, I was there. I've always shown up every time I had a lawful court order. But if there's no lawful court order, I'm not going to be there. And I sent the court notice a month in advance that I was not going to be there. Followed up with another notice that I was not going to be there. So I'm traveling legally en route and on business as the ambassador of the Chilcotin Indian Nation. And lo and behold, an 8-man FBI SWAT team comes in and arrests me without a warrant, with no court order, for failure to appear in court. That's what they said. That's what their report says. They arrested me for failure to appear in court. Well, the DA in Memphis says, well, we didn't give him a preliminary hearing because there was no warrant for his arrest. He wasn't arrested on a warrant for failure to appear. So we don't have to give him a preliminary hearing for failure to appear. We just take it straight to indictment. So there is no preliminary hearing. They circumvent the law all day long through manipulation. It's a rigged game. So here I'm taken before a trial and charged with possession of a weapon because they claim they found a rifle in a plane that had been open for 2.5 months. But he lied on his affidavit saying that the airplane had been secured for 2.5 months, where his own FBI undercover agents provided him with a video of the airport president standing on the wing of the plane with the door of the plane open saying, I've been in the plane every day for the last...
You have 60 seconds remaining.
And other than that, he said another pilot had moved the plane out of the hangar twice that he knew of.
Yep.
I mean, there's so many people that have keys to that hangar. He doesn't know how many times that plane's been moved. He doesn't even know if the plane's been flown. He doesn't know anything about anything. And then they charged him with covering up a crime that they created. They call him up and say, well, we need to find out all this information about the sheriff so they could charge him with misprision of felony. Well, guess what? What about all the other people that are guilty of misprision of felony that they don't charge? Oh, well, that's their buddies.
Yeah. It was the same judge.
Charged in the first place.
This Wilson guy did have the same judge you did, and from what I'm reading, it's absolutely incredible that he got that many years.
Yeah, do a profile on Michael Taylor Wilson. The guy is 25 years old and his life's just been destroyed. He had no criminal history whatsoever. Realized he had a weapons permit, legally carrying his gun. And
thank you for using GTL.